friends, one of the most common questions that everyone asks when you get stopped and you've been arrested and the police want to take a breathalyzer test. They will not ask you that unless you're already in custody and they've taken you down to the police memorial building and booked you and they're processing you, and then they ask you to take a breath test. Well, guess what? You've already been arrested. Now, the legal limit in Florida is a 0.08 blood level. For an average man, 2 beers in an hour will put you over the legal limit. Most of us think 2 beers in an hour, we're just fine. But that's not the legal limit, and the science will demonstrate that you're over the legal limit even if you don't think your faculties are impaired. So you want to be very careful about taking a test. So if you've had those 2 beers or 3 or 4, then generally speaking, the answer is no, you don't want to take a breath test unless you're positive you're going to pass it. Now they're going to ask you, are you willing to take the test? Now by that time you've been arrested, and in your mind you probably think, well, I just took that field sobriety test, I did everything they told me, I think I passed it, but they arrested me anyway. So the proper answer when you're down at the police station and they want you to take a test, tell them politely, you know, I took a test, I passed it, I got arrested anyway, I don't think your tests are fair, so no, I'm not going to take any more tests. So they're going to show you a form called an implied consent form, and when you get a license under Florida law, it's implied that you consent to having a breath test. But that's only true if you've been lawfully arrested. And if you think you haven't been lawfully arrested, you have a perfectly valid ground to not take the test. And of course, what's the point of taking a test if it's going to show that you're over the legal limit? So generally speaking, be very cautious about taking a breath test. The other thing to remember is the law requires that you not be under the influence when you're behind the wheel. When you get arrested out on the street, it may be 2 to 3 hours later before they get you back to the police station. Well, what does that mean? If you're at a bar, for example, and you have one last nightcap and get behind the wheel and you're 10 minutes from home, then you're sober. You're not over the legal limit. An hour or 2 later, that alcohol's gotten in your system. Now you're down at the jail, you blow on the machine, and now all of a sudden you're over the legal limit. So the relevant time to determine your blood alcohol level is when you're behind the wheel prior to your arrest. So again, there's another reason why that test taken 2 or 3 hours later is not a very fair one. So that's the general approach. We encourage you to be careful about those breath tests. They hardly ever help unless you're sure that you haven't been drinking. Thank you.